Hey, 7th grade science students, your job is to look at the growth of the plant to see if it's been affected by its environment. Remember our beautiful fields that we had here at Southampton Middle School? Well, we still have them. And here's the spot where people leave the fields and go around the corner to go back into the locker rooms from phys ed. And even though you guys haven't been here, this trail still exists heading over to the doors. The traffic that this poor piece of lawn has experienced has always been, has caused it not to have any more grass growing in here, and it's going to take a long time for it to recover. I'm out here on the school trail at Southampton Middle School. It's got signs all about mutualism and different types of things that you could maybe encounter on this trail. It's a gorgeous spot. It's real quiet. I'm hearing all the birds and everything like that. Something that I noticed down here next to the stream is this tree. Look at that. This freaky like blackness here. And there's also one over here. Look up there, you see that big old black thing on there? That is called a gull. And the gull is as a result of some sort of an injury that the tree experienced. Something either bit it or it got scraped by something. And these cherry trees will heal themselves with a scar called a gull. And there's a lot of trees that do that. I keep hearing stuff out here on the trail. I'm wondering if I'm alone. I think that there could be a deer around here. There certainly is evidence of deer. Here you've got a tree, and this tree here is a very short tree, but it's taller than I am. And if you notice, all the branches are perfectly intact up in here, right? Look at those branches. They're all perfectly intact. That means you got all the little buds on them that you're supposed to have at this time of the year. But if you look down below on the same tree, I'm going to follow this tree down, right? Follow it down like this. Down here, you'll notice that there are spots where it's been trimmed off. It's been bitten. Do you see that right there? These spots? These are called deer browse spots. So this is a spot where the deer have nibbled the branches that have those sweet little buds on them, because the deer, it's right along the side of the trail, and they're kind of opportunistic. They'll eat right along the sides of the trail. And so I found evidence of where the growth of this stem has stopped because something bit it. That's also environmental. Check this out. I found a tree that's got a split in the middle of it where the wood on the inside is kind of rotting. It goes all the way down here to almost to the ground. I think that this is an old lightning strike. It goes most of the way up the tree. You can tell that when this tree was smaller, it got struck by lightning and it split all the way down the whole thing. And now it's actually healing around that. This tree is still alive. It's amazing. But it has obviously been struck by lightning or something like that that's impeding its growth in the one area. So really, environmental impacts is basically anything that has happened since it was born. So genetics, that's where the plant is born with certain traits. But environmental impact, that's stuff that has happened since it was born until it dies. That's the things that happen to it, that it's acquired over the years, a trait that it has acquired. We're looking for those kinds of acquired traits, things that have happened as a result of the way it has grown up over the years. So I just happened across this tree that's got a vine that's getting it. See this vine right here? It has been climbing up this tree for a very long time. As a matter of fact, this piece here has actually grown into the branch. If you notice, the branch came up, the vine was under it, and the tree has actually grown around that branch. And if I look carefully, I can see scarring from where the vine had actually gone around and strangled this tree at one point. Lots of times you'll find places where the vines actually change the way the tree grows. That's an environmental thing that happens to the plant growth as well. I'm still on Southampton's trail, and I noticed this poor tree, this one behind me here. This thing is, if it's not dead, it's definitely going there. I don't see any branches in that whole tree except for a bunch of vines, and they're not really a part of the tree. This tree here was attacked by a sapsucker when it was alive. You can see where they've poked holes into the tree Sapsuckers like to do that, and then bugs get caught in the sap and they come by and they eat the bugs out of the sap. Well, they're called sapsuckers, but they don't really suck on the sap. They actually eat the bugs from the sap. But you can see that it's scarred up. This is an old sapsucker hole, right? All these spots on it that have been there. Here's a spot where you can see it had the scar and then the drip mark from the sap. That is an environmental impact that was caused by a bird. See, all environmental impacts are not caused by people, are they? So this is an area called the Environmental Center. Well, back when they used to cut the lawn here, the mowers hit the bottoms of the trees sometimes, and this is an actual old scar from where a lawnmower hit it. That is an environmental impact. Back in my classroom now, your job is to go out into your yard or your neighboring area and look for a place where environmental factors have impacted the growth of a tree or a plant of some sort. Your environmental factors might be competition between one plant and another plant. Maybe a plant is growing over another plant and it's causing it to grow very slowly. Or maybe it's predation, where an animal has been eating on it, like I showed you with the deer browse. It could be that one area of the sunlight, there's actually something called phototropism, where the plant will actually grow towards the sun. You might have a house that has a shady area and you planted a plant in that shady area and it doesn't like it. It's trying to grow into the sun, and so it's growing out and towards the sun. It might be that there's one plant that gets more water than another plant. It could be that there's a different soil that's in a certain area, and that might impact the growth of a plant. Maybe you've got two plants you can compare. They're the same kind of plants. They should be growing the same, but doggone, one of them's growing faster. I've got one at my house. It's growing over top of where our septic tank is, and man, it's taken off. There's all kinds of nutrients underneath the ground where that septic tank is. And there's the same exact plant across the yard, and it's not growing nearly as fast. So you've got to go out and find examples. You can either take a picture or you can make a video. If you take a picture, you're going to have to write something that explains how the environmental factor is impacting the growth of that plant. If you have the video, you can just explain it on the video. All right? Have a great time. Go outside, get away from your computers and go out. It's beautiful today.